Welcome to Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On with Janice Formicella. I'm Janice Formicella, a breakup coach passionate about supporting others to learn from their breakups, overcome loneliness, love being single, and see the end of a relationship as the beginning of a magical, sexy new chapter in life. I am here each week to share with you the tools that I have learned through my own painful breakups, through hitting rock bottom more than once, and through working with people all around the world to heal their broken hearts. If you are looking for hope and strength to move on from your breakup and resources to enjoy your new life, you are in the right place, and I've got your back. Welcome, everyone, and welcome back, Julie Dempsey. It's always so good to have you. You're becoming almost a co-host, not a guest co-host.
Well, I love to be here with you, Janice. It's always so much.
Me too. I'm so glad that you're here, and it's been so much fun getting to know you through doing more episodes together as well. Today, we are going to be talking about dating yourself. Anyone who's listened knows that I'm a big advocate for not just making the most out of your single time, but in continuing to enjoy spending time alone as kind of a portal for a lot of other things to come, building confidence, a bunch of things that we're going to talk about in the episode. And today we're just going to completely talk about what it means to take yourself on a date, what it means to prioritize it, what you can get out of it, and how much fun it is. Julie, it was your idea to do this, but before we get into the episode and our intentions, can you please remind my audience where they can find you?
Yes, they can find me on my website, juliedemsey.com, spelled D-E-M-S-E-Y. There's no P in it.
No.
Very popular belief.
Well, you know what? I have to say, I have had that auto-corrected for me when I've
Yes.
typed your name, which I thought was interesting. I don't think Dempsey is any more common than Dempsey. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, there's Patrick Dempsey and other, famous Dempseys with a P in it. But I like
Okay.
to think I'm original, no P.
Oh, no P. JulieDemsey.com. And you want to say just really quickly, what it is that you help your clients with?
I am a rapid results mindset coach and hypnotherapist. And I work with a lot of my clients on relationship with self, which is what we'll be talking about today, so that we can feel confident, we can reduce anxiety and burnout and things like that. Relationship with work. So how do I get that next job? How do I level up? Helping people run their companies. I've spent a lot of time working with startups, and then relationships with others. So how do I get into that relationship or stay in the relationship that I want to have in my life with somebody else?
Beautiful. And I've worked with Julie, and I definitely recommend her services. Julie, you mentioned relationship with self as something that you support people to build. Other than that, why did you want to do an episode on this topic?
I actually ran a group with women talking about this subject because very often people feel shy about going on their own and dating themselves. And there's so much benefit to get from it that I really wanted to be able to help your audience to feel really confident this is something that they can do and it will have a great impact on their life.
And I suppose my intention is exactly the same thing and why I wanted to do this. I personally gained so much from learning how to date myself. It completely changed my life. I was going through a very lonely period. I wasn't just alone, but I was very lonely when I was living in Bali. We're going to talk about all that. And once I learned how to date myself, that experience living over there completely changed. I'm sure that a lot of people could not believe that I actually was miserable in Bali for the first little while. And then it turned into a good experience, which it should when you're in the tropics. Ooh, and also I've seen it change my clients' lives as well. A lot of times when I'm working with people, they come to the first call very downtrodden. And for the ones who really commit to learning how to date themselves, wow, by the end of us working together, they've got a skip in their step. So I want to share this with more people. Let's get into it. Before we dive into all of the benefits and our own stories, Julie, what does it mean to date yourself?
Well, exactly what it sounds like. So we are very familiar with dating other people and what that involves, and it usually involves getting dressed up, getting excited, having a plan, and we can do this for ourselves to create that date. So instead of waiting for somebody to go do that thing we wanted to do and say, I need to go out on a date, take yourself out on a date. Get all dressed up, make a plan, go do something that you've been wanting to do that you're going to enjoy. It could be having a meal, going to a movie, maybe an art exhibit, having a lovely walk, whatever activity it is, but make it special and make it deliberate. And it really is a great way to get to know yourself and encourages more mental health, introspection, and creating that relationship with yourself is so, so important. It's just got so many far-reaching, aspects throughout your life.
Definitely does. I think that a lot of people conceptually think, yeah, dating yourself, it's a great idea, but I don't know that as many people actually go out and do it. And so we're going to give you a bunch of ideas. We are going to fully equip you to not just get excited about this, but really, I guess, the logistics about how you go about doing it. Julie, was there a time in your life or was there a moment where you learned how to do this? Or have you always been dating yourself?
I kind of always have because I'm somebody who loves to be around other people, but I also like my own company and need some time to recharge on my own. But I don't think I thought of it as the concept of dating myself or really planned it in that way. And in making that conscious plan just has so much benefit. I think the first example I have of when I did this was a couple of years ago. Living in Australia, everybody is away like through January, and my birthday is the first week of January.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And so everybody was away, and I'm like trying to plan things, and it was just getting to be so messy that I decided, ugh, I'm just not going to enjoy my birthday if I have to make this plan and try and figure out the pieces of everyone. And I just decided I am going to take myself on a birthday date. And I booked a high-end hotel for the night.
Oh,
I used points that I had, so I didn't even have to pay for it. I booked tea while I was there. I had a massage.
I
I
love
got a
it.
ticket to an outdoor concert, and I just had a 24-hour date and festival of me. Now, it doesn't have to be that elaborate, right? That's a pretty big date. Another example is just a couple days ago, I'm a continuous learner and I love to learn new skills that I can use for myself and bring to my clients. And so I was doing some inner child work. And as I was meeting with the little girl inside of me, I realized she wanted ice cream. And I had this picture of me just eating this ice cream when I was a little girl and just so happy.
Hmm.
And I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to take myself out on an ice cream date. I'm going to give that little girl what she wants. So I got dressed up. I put on a pretty sundress and I went to the ice cream parlor down the street. And instead of ordering a small cup of one flavor, because, as adults, that's the responsible thing to do.
That's true. That is what you normally see.
Yep, yep. I said, you know what? I'm going to give this little girl what she wants. I've taken her on this date and we're going to have a great time. 2 scoops on a cone. I just sat there and I savored every bite of it and I fully enjoyed that date.
And did you feel comfortable being at a coffee shop by yourself?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Julie sent me a picture and it really did look like so much fun. Plus, so sunny and warm in Sydney right now, right?
Yep. Yep.
Ah, see, oh, that's so beautiful. I have to say, I don't think I've ever taken myself out for ice cream. That is such a great idea. Thank you so much. I also have always been comfortable going places on my own since I always. I talk to some of my clients and other people about going out to dinner by themselves or going to a bar by themselves. I always. I never thought that that was weird. I can remember all the way back in even high school and college going and even getting sushi just because I wanted to get sushi. But just like you, I didn't really think of it as taking myself out. When this lifestyle started, I suppose, as I alluded to, I was living in Bali on a visa run. That took 4 months. It wasn't really a visa run. I was waiting for my visa to get approved. And it's just, no one knows how long it's going to take. You go offshore and just kind of wait. And yeah, I ended up waiting for 4 months. And the first 2 months I was there, it was poor me. Oh, I want to go home. I would call my friends crying. It was so depressing. And I just let myself just wallow in it and yeah, feel bad for myself. And I was in this beautiful area. Ubud has so many opportunities for you to meet people and just enjoy the amazing food. And I just wasn't in the moment at all. All I could think about was I got to get back to my friends. I got to get back to my community. There was a couple really dark weekends, and eventually I just decided I needed to stop doing this to myself. One of the reasons why it was so hard for me to be there is because I just felt like it was just like this empty pit. And so I decided that what would really help me is to have something to look forward to. And so that's how I came up with the sexy solo date night. And from the first time I did it, I called it that. And I posted pictures on Facebook, which we'll talk about why that can make it more meaningful. And also I was very short on cash. I was working this freelance job with a company back in Australia, and man, it was rough. I cannot believe I went through that. So I had to budget for it. And so I budgeted so that on Friday I would go to the Mexican restaurant that's in that area. And yeah, I got all dressed up. I brought, I think, a book with me, walked down there and just had a beautiful meal. And like I said, posted photos on Facebook. A lot of people liked and commented it because so many people knew what a dark hole I had been in. And now, I'm posting something happy and exciting. And I kept that up even to today. I will go on dates. I love to solo travel. I don't know that I consider solo travel to be a solo date, but I still will get dressed up, go and do things on my own and really enjoy it. I'm new to Denver, and so well, I've been here for 4 years. When I was new to Denver, it really helped me to get acclimated with the area. I too had a birthday where I was all on my own because when I first moved here, I didn't know anyone. And yes, I made reservations for myself at an Italian place. I went beforehand to a very well-known place here, Angelo's, and had oysters and champagne. Don't wait around for anyone.
Exactly.
We have both said that we are comfortable with it and for whatever reason always were. However, I do understand because of being so passionate about this and speaking with so many people about it that it's not for everyone. Well, it is for everyone, but not everyone is naturally comfortable with it.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
let's talk about why this is.
I mean, one of the reasons is people feel there's a social stigma and expectations that when you're going out to dinner or to the movies or whatever else, that you're with somebody, that you're not supposed to be doing these activities alone, which people might have the fear of being perceived as lonely or antisocial or
Uh,
isolated. And, these can be seen as cultural norms, but I would like to remove that from being cultural norm. I see people out doing things like this on their own all the time. I've never given a second thought or looked to them
right?
or done anything. And I mentioned this group of women that I did an evening for, and I started talking with some of them because when I met them, the reason I did this group is they were uncomfortable going to a bar to meet a group of women by themselves. They wanted to bring somebody with them. And
Oh.
I wanted to give them the agency to be able to do that on their own.
Mhm.
And so we started talking. I said, you know what? Do you grocery shop? Well, yeah. Who do you grocery shop with? I grocery shop on my own.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We run errands. We do all of these different things. So we don't think about the amount of time that we are actually out in public by ourselves. and don't think about it and don't think about there being a stigma attached. So I encourage them to expand their thinking to if I can do these things on my own, there are other things I can do on my own as well.
Hmm. Yeah, that is interesting how we categorize things as acceptable and not acceptable. Though I would say that this is largely internal. Like you said, I also see people at restaurants and classes and other things I do solo and don't give it a second thought.
And I've not once had somebody look at me funny, like, who are you to be here by yourself?
Same.
I, right? Nobody's ever come up and said, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Like you were saying, you post pictures of things like this on Facebook and people are like, yeah, I love it. Go, girl.
If anything, it's allowed me to actually meet people, and I feel like it makes people curious about me. And I've had people approach me and even ask like who I am because they just thought I looked so happy doing what I was doing. It was a nice skill to have being new in an area because it allowed me, like I said, to go out, learn about the places I enjoyed, explore the neighborhood, and meet people who live here.
Yep.
Mhm. You said the fear of self-reflection, and I suppose this has to do with what being with your own thoughts, or what would you say
Yeah.
this involves?
There are some people that are constantly go, go, go because the minute they're by themselves, their brain starts going. And this is a time when we can get to know ourselves and have some feelings and thoughts that we might have buried deep. And so some people are just scared that if I'm on my own, the self-reflection is going to start, and I don't want to experience that. And I would
Yeah.
say, you know what? We all need to have that. And if we're going to grow and learn, it's important. And there are times when I'm on my own when that self reflection comes, and there are times when it's just light and breezy, easy. So I encourage everybody not to be intimidated by that and to really just feel into it if it comes up and experience what that means. I promise it's not scary.
No, I can see it being confronting to people at the beginning, but there's really so many opportunities that self-reflection brings you. In fact, when I really leaned into this, my last year and a half living in Melbourne, my life was just a mess. Everything kept on blowing up, one thing after another, including the visa that I wanted so badly. Yeah. And so I just said, okay, I'm just going to get a house sit. I need to figure my shit out. I stopped socializing, I stopped dating, all of that. And it was through that time where I was able to think back over the last maybe even 10 years of my life and the very obvious patterns that I was completely unaware of. And the things that I was doing over and over again that were causing all of these crises. And it was really pivotal time in my life for me. And it only came because I had spent all this time alone and I allowed myself the self-reflection. And I will say it was a little hard at first. It brought up
Yeah.
anger, like in the very beginning, just kind of
Yep.
thinking. And then the farther I got into it, the more I wanted to explore these
Yeah.
things. I also think that there are some misconceptions about solitude and being alone. And that is a lot of people equate being alone with loneliness and maybe not knowing what to do, maybe being bored. Yeah, kind of. Well, I like to call it sometimes there's a lot of white space when you are living alone or by yourself or don't have a partner that you make all these decisions and plans with. And the truth is, there are a lot of people who are single and alone. I don't even like the word alone. I feel, or
Yeah, but
solo. Let's just say solo.
yeah, I have
Mhm.
to say, my loneliest period of my life was towards the end of my marriage when I was actually living in the house with somebody and we were not at all together.
Yeah.
It's much more lonely than being on my own.
Well, and there's been so much research done on overcoming loneliness, and it's something that I've actually done a lot of speaking around. The research does show that married people report higher rates of loneliness. But as we said, there's so much that can be gained from solitude, not only the self reflection, but I have some quotes from one of my favorite books about the solo life, and it is called On My Own: The Art of Being a Woman Alone. And it's by Florence Falk. I will put it in the show notes. It is beautiful, beautiful. Like she has all these lovely narrations about like her experiences. And yeah, she does talk a lot about the benefits of solitude. And one of the benefits of solitude is you get to know yourself and you get to know your intuition really well. And when you are in touch with your intuition, you have better boundaries. If you do decide that you want a relationship, or if you are in a relationship or dating, the more that you can tune into your intuition. They say it's your inner GPS, and it is. I actually had a something recently where I ignored my intuition, and it turned into the biggest disaster. And I was able to say, oh, I'm so glad that I have such a lovely relationship with her. It would have been nice had I heeded her warnings, but it was just a reminder to myself that I am in touch with it. And Florence Falk says of intuition, she says, "We learn to know the sound of this voice because it belongs to us. Its words do not continue to divide us from ourselves, but rather begin to make us feel whole. It is the voice of our authentic self. And for most of us, its sound has been muffled for so long that when we do begin to hear it, it can sound too loud and rude. You might stop people pleasing. It says things a good girl doesn't say, even if we blush and try to tone it down." And I can definitely relate. I've always been intuitive, but taking the time off from people, it just became laser focused.
I
And
agree.
one of my favorite quotes from the book, she says, "There is no better way to arrive at the wisdom of the informed heart than by embracing solitude instead of trying to escape it." I really like this, partially because I do hear a lot of people saying when it comes to dating and relationships, I always ask people, why do you want to do this? What is your motivation behind wanting to date at all or date again? And a lot of people do say that they're just simply lonely. And so instead of trying to escape it with a band-aid, which could end up being a very blah relationship, lean
Yeah.
into it. And then another reason why it is so hard, people don't know how to do it. There's just a lack of awareness. I think a lot of people don't even realize that people go to bars and restaurants by themselves. We are going to give a long list of ideas of different things that you can do on your own that Julie and I have both done. But I think a lot of the ideas will be new to people. A lot of people don't understand just the practicalities of taking yourself on a date.
And taking that even a step further, I think a lot of people, we talk about earlier on, we were doing this without even being conscious of it. And so I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who've just never even thought of taking themselves on a date.
Mm. Or on a birthday overnighter. Or one of my favorite solo trips was just when I went to Tasmania just for 2 nights. Yeah, I had a reservation and I got some champagne. I was going to say a bottle, but certainly not. I did not do that, anyone. And I had a beautiful view. It was like someone taking me on a date. It was probably everything that I would have hoped a man would plan for me for the weekend.
Yeah.
And such
Yeah.
good memories.
Another thing is people feel they're too busy. I can't take myself on a date. And I think this
Yeah.
is especially something that occurs for parents.
Oh, I hadn't thought of this.
Yeah. Who am I to take myself off on a date and have alone time when, I don't get to spend enough time
Right.
with my kids because of work or whatever. And I would say we need to have balance of all the things. And taking yourself out on a date is going to help you be a better parent and a better
Oh,
person.
totally.
You have that time for yourself and you're showing yourself that you value yourself and you're
I
showing the world value
That is
yourself too.
absolutely right. Parents need that. And well, I'm not a parent, but parents could start some sort of snowball effect. You talk to your other parent friends, and then they try and implement this. When I
Yeah.
was in Melbourne, I was nannying for a family for ages, and the couple had this really cool thing that I respected so much. Every other Saturday, one parent would watch their child while the other one went out for the day and just did whatever they wanted. I thought it was
Yeah.
beautiful. And these people were pretty chill and happy
And
parents, I have to say. So,
I,
anyone listening with kids, maybe implement that. I actually happen to know that I have a lot of single parents who listen.
whether you're parenting solo or with somebody else, this is important.
Yeah, maybe
So,
even fundamental to your
yeah,
ability to keep it going because
exactly.
parents are have a lot on their plate.
Yeah. And another thing that keeps us from solo dating is our phone, the digital distractions. And this is something that gets in the way of dating others as well as dating ourselves. So, you know, how much time do you spend a day scrolling through things you don't need to? Getting back to the busy and tying that together with the digital distraction. Take yourself off Facebook and Instagram for a day. I mean, still look at our stuff. No.
Yes.
Take yourself off of that for a day. And I bet you can find that's an hour. You could go take yourself out on a date. When you're having that date with yourself, don't use this as a distraction. Actually spend the time with yourself as you would if you were on a date with somebody else.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You wouldn't sit there and scroll on your phone on a date.
I know.
Mhm. The one tiny pushback that I would give is I do have a lot of clients who say, I always suggest going to a bar top because there's other people who are going to be there solo. You can chat with the bartender. It just feels very natural to me. And when I have clients who say that they absolutely could never do that, they feel like it will look weird. I will say take a book or maybe take your phone so that you feel like you're occupied. And sometimes that can take the edge and the discomfort off for people. So if you're just getting used to this, I
Yeah,
would say, yeah, maybe that's a gray area.
I don't
Mhm.
disagree. I don't disagree. However, build that muscle up to a point where you feel comfortable.
Yes. Now I don't even look at my phone. I'll just chill and have my meal. But yeah, if it's a comfort measure in the very beginning, yes,
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Something else you mentioned before was you didn't have money or you needed to save up money. And if you feel like there's a financial constraint where you can't take yourself out on a lavish date, that's okay. Take yourself out to an art gallery they usually have a day a week that's free for
Mhm.
locals or something like that. Take yourself out on a beautiful walk or literally make yourself a bath, right? And put candles up and make that into a date. There are many things you can do that don't cost money.
And many things that are maybe really affordable. And this will get to one of the points we're going to make later, and that is to plan things out, do a little bit of research, and maybe you'll find things that you'll find really interesting that you can do. I love to walk. And when I first moved to Denver, was also pretty strapped for cash. And on the weekends when the weather permitted, I would just wander around and it was very very fulfilling and it helped me to get to know the neighborhood. I actually ended up making this entire Google Maps list of places that I wanted to eventually go. So on my walks I would see something that looked cool and I would bookmark it, and I'm actually still using that list today.
Ah,
Yeah.
amazing.
And I would recommend that to everyone. And that's another thing I think people, as we're going to talk about, or as we said, lack of awareness. This
Yeah,
can help you. And lack of interest or creativity. We're going to help you out with this. Like we were already said a couple times, people just don't have ideas. And that can be hard, I suppose. I think maybe sometimes when you're making decisions with others as far as where to go, you might feel that it's easier because you're bouncing ideas off each other and also bringing to the table ideas and things that you thought would be fun, but only with someone else. And so I kind of get that this would be uncomfortable for people at the beginning. But yeah, get creative and you're going to absolutely love it. And also, getting creative on your own, I think will help in many other aspects of life.
sure, for sure.
A lot of my clients are going through breakups or were prompted to come to the show because of breakups. And let's just talk really briefly about how dating yourself can really, really help recovering from a breakup. I suppose the first obvious answer would be if you're taking yourself out, you will know that you don't need a partner to do that. And that you're going to be okay.
And it also gets you out of sitting at home and wallowing about it, right? You're
Mm,
getting out and doing something, and you're doing something you enjoy, which will get those endorphins going and hopefully get you to put a smile on your face.
yeah. And I know in the beginning that it can be hard,
Yeah.
especially if you're telling yourself over and over that you'd rather do it with someone. So I will say a lot of this when it comes to dating yourself is about mindfulness. And that is, something that Julie and I are passionate about, something that we're not really going to get too deep in on this episode, but I will remind everybody that this is how you look at being alone. This is how you look at dating yourself. And so repeating positive messages about it in your mind rather than poor me, I mean, that's going to make the biggest difference of all, I think. And I would say keep listening to my podcast because I am someone who's revved up about this as you can be.
Yeah, and I think also, sometimes like we're looking at the side of we're missing this person, but sometimes we forget the bad points. And it could be that going out with the person who was our significant other, they would blow up when you go out in something like this. So you wouldn't actually enjoy it. So change around the message to yourself and go, oh my gosh, I get to do all these things and actually enjoy them and not worry about that person.
Word to your mother. Oh my God. The last year of my marriage, oh, we couldn't go anywhere together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is funny because through my work, I do have clients kind of mention here and there little spats or just kind of weird, uncomfortable things that happened during their relationship in public. And yeah, that's such a good point. Drama
Yeah.
free. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking with a client the other day who I helped get comfortable with going out and taking themselves on a date. And they were really nervous about it. And we checked in afterwards. It's like, I feel so empowered. I feel brazen. I feel,
Mhm.
it builds confidence to do
Yes.
these.
And also, you want to date someone you like, and it's even better to date someone you love. And this will, yeah, strengthen that muscle for sure. In fact, I mean, I've had one of the biggest compliments that I get is people saying how self-assured I am or how obviously confident I am. And it's because of this. Especially if you're unconfident about doing it in the beginning or so uncomfortable doing it in the beginning, when you get out and actually face your fears, that in and of itself builds your confidence and your self-trust as well. Mhm.
Absolutely super powerful.
Besides all of that, what will you gain by learning to love yourself? Julie, you actually are bringing some academia to the table. Can you tell us a little bit about what you found?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much science that backs this up in terms of how you're going to increase your self-confidence, increase your self-worth, setting boundaries for how you want to be treated because you're treating yourself that way. It helps you to create boundaries for other people and show you how you want to be treated. So much self-care and self-confidence that comes from this. It's just all empowering and all encompassing. And it actually spans out from just you and your relationship with self to how you interact in relationship with others as well.
Yeah, if you love yourself and if you're in tune with your intuition, you'll get into better relationships. And I hate using this word, but you won't be so needy. Do you know? I mean, when you bring that into the dating realm, it's not attractive and it doesn't lead to making really great decisions, in my opinion.
And dating yourself, I mean, you get to spend some time thinking about what it is you're enjoying and how you want to be, and you get more comfortable in who you are and in what you want,
Mhm.
which helps you to make better decisions when you're ready to date somebody else.
Yep. If you can walk away easily, then you will have great relationships. In fact, we're going to talk just a little bit more about that. Another thing that you will gain is self-discovery. I feel like a lot of people don't know themselves. They don't know what their hobbies are. They don't know what they would want to do on their own. A lot of people don't know their needs, wants, and desires when it comes to relationships. Even some people, I think, have a hard time sometimes even telling me like what their five favorite movies are or personality types or what they want for their future. And this gives you the opportunity, obviously, to do that. And this was another thing that came from me taking this break from people, certainly from dating, is after. doing it for about a month or so, I started to rediscover things about myself that I had just put to the wayside when I was living in all of this chaos trying to get these visas in Australia. I had hadn't even read for a while. Reading and books is one of the core things about my life, about my personality. I read every day, really without fail. And I realized had completely stopped doing that for a little while. I love history. I hadn't been to a history museum in ages. I hadn't really exposed myself to learning about history. I love documentaries. I hadn't done that. And so I just started doing all of these things, and I really felt like I came alive and remembered, yeah, who I am and what the essence of me was.
That's
Yeah, it
so
was a
good.
really cool experience.
It's so cool because it is so true that we lose ourselves sometimes in relationships with our kids or just having been growing up in situations where we're kind of told who we are, what we want. And so, as you said, I've worked with so many clients that don't know themselves and don't know what they want to, and don't remember what it was they liked. And working with them to help them rediscover that is, again, so empowering and so healing.
Okay, so let's get in a little bit deeper into how learning to date yourself can improve relationships overall. Julie?
Getting to know yourself and what you want allows you to really understand who you want to date and what qualities you want that person to have and what boundaries you want to set in terms of what you're expecting for yourself and how to be treated. And all of that helps you get into a better relationship than you could have had if you didn't know all of this and have all of
Mm,
these data. Yeah, by dating yourself, you create in yourself the person you want to date. You become that person, and then you attract that person.
yeah, it's completely true. And then along those same lines, independence. This was something I gained as well, kind of learning that I can rely on myself to go out and do fun things, that perhaps I should rely on myself to go out and do fun things. It definitely created, this snowball effect where independence became actually one of my top values. I'm looking at my values on my whiteboard, and it's adventure, beauty, helping others, independence, and personal development. The top five most important things for me. Let's talk about mental health. I came across a bunch of studies. People who are more comfortable spending time alone and thus dating themselves actually have some better mental health outcomes. From the book, which people know I love, Solo: Building a Remarkable Life on Your Own by my friend Peter McGraw, he says, research confirms what your body intuitively knows. A study published in the Journal of Research and Personality in 2014 by Nguyen, Ryan, and Desi found that spending time alone can mitigate negative emotions. Turns out people experience less intense emotions when they're alone compared to when they're with others, which the authors suggest is due to the absence of social feedback when alone. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Hmm.
Huh.
I mean, and we're not saying to not socialize. I think what the study indicates is people who are more comfortable with it and maybe people who do it more often. I will say that this rings true for me before I went on this, spiritual personal development journey that I've referenced. I was compulsive with socializing. I really don't use that word lightly. I would go out of my way to have plans most nights. I'm very extroverted, and so I do thrive on that to a certain extent. But it was almost like I just couldn't stand the thought of being alone. And I will say that I did tend to spiral when I would. And it was almost like this numbing thing that I
Yeah.
would do so that I didn't have to really look at what was really going on in my life, get to know myself, avoiding lots of things that were bubbling under the
Yeah.
surface. And I don't experience that anymore. I still socialize a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that's a lot of growth, and I love that for
Yeah.
you.
And, if people are listening because they're going through breakups, this really might be the game changer that's waiting for you. Like, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about kind of some tips if you're ready to dive into this and some actual ideas for some activities. So stay tuned. Nothing shatters your life like a breakup. And the feeling of a broken heart is real. I know that it seems impossible right now, but there is hope and there are ways to heal. I would love to work with you one-on-one to heal your broken heart and put your breakup behind you. My personalized coaching programs are designed to pinpoint what will be most effective in helping you to move forward and make this breakup a part of your past. I believe in you. Message me at breakupspodcast@gmail.com or hit me up on Instagram at breakupspodcast, and let's connect about creating a magical plan of action to get this breakup in your rear view mirror. Welcome back. Let's talk about the awareness around how to do this. And so I have just a couple tips, not activities, but just ways to make it more fun and appealing to you. And the first one is, like we said earlier, try to avoid numbing or disconnecting during your free time. And I put this as a tip because I think when we avoid numbing, that we will be more compelled to do something that's maybe a little bit more fun or healthy. And when it comes to numbing, definitely your cell phone, drugs, alcohol, sleeping, talking on the phone, anything that kind of makes you disconnect from yourself or the moment.
I would add, if this is something that feels uncomfortable to you, if you are feeling shy about going out on your own, and you just don't have that level of comfort, to prepare for this, start thinking, like we were talking about before, of all the things you actually do on your own already that are out in public. And start telling yourself, if I can do these things, I can do this other thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And start giving yourself positive mantras and affirmations about how good this is going to be. I'm really looking forward to Saturday when I take myself on a date. I'm feeling excited about this. This is going to be a great experience. I'm really going to enjoy it. There's nothing to fear here. There's only excitement.
Yeah.
Start giving yourself these messages because we need to start rewiring the brain if we weren't comfortable with this to begin with, so that we can wire it to feel comfortable. And then when you're out, just notice how it feels. It feels really freeing. It feels really exciting. It feels empowering. And remind yourself again, I feel empowered. I feel strong. I feel courageous. And give yourself that feedback, as well as congratulate yourself for taking that step. If this is your first time taking yourself on a date, relish in it while you're in it, and then congratulate yourself for doing it and be really proud of yourself.
I think and if you do experience maybe things that you would feel are a little negative, or if you find that you're still not fully stoked about it, congratulate yourself. Always go back to inserting the positive vibes into it. And also remind yourself that the discomfort's temporary. I mean, Julie and I are pretty cool. We love it. You can too.
Yeah. And really get behind it. Like, if you start feeling that way, if you start feeling uncomfortable, think about it. Why am I uncomfortable? Is this real, or is it actually constructed out of what I think people might be thinking about me? And then remember that everybody's actually going about their day and not necessarily paying attention to you.
True.
So you're safe. You're fine.
Yep. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just thoughts. Your thoughts
Exactly.
are not reality, and you can switch it. It does take some work, I will have to say. And that's another thing that came out of this journey for me is learning mindfulness. I was pretty intentional about rewiring my mind. It did take me a while, but it's completely possible. Trust me. Another tip, schedule it in. This makes it feel like an actual date. I mean, when we're dating others, we don't often do it in the spur of the moment. I guess if you're in a relationship, you might. But this will make, like I said, this will make it feel like it's an actual date. I often put it in my calendar.
And then we talked about it before, but again, I'll say get dressed up. Like take time to make yourself feel pretty or handsome or whatever word you want to
Mm.
use, and feel good about yourself. And wear something special. Don't it makes a big difference if I just run down the street in something casual and grab a bite to eat versus saying, I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to put it on my calendar. I love that one. I'm going to get dressed up. I'm going to do my hair, whatever it is to make me feel really good about myself and take that time. It changes everything.
Yes. And maybe even tell people you're busy. Taking myself out.
Yep.
Something that I like to do, which can also make it feel more special, is maybe have an Uber pick you up rather than driving yourself there. I think that really does add another layer to it when you have someone come and pick you up.
Yeah. Any of the things. Even send yourself flowers with a note that says,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to our date on Saturday.
Oh, that is such a good tip. If you're not in the habit of buying yourself flowers, just try it. It really just brightens my day. I like when other people buy me flowers, don't get me wrong. But I mean, if you're dating yourself, you can do this for yourself.
Yeah.
Remind yourself about the things that you love about yourself. I think when we have a certain level of self-love, we will look forward to spending time with ourselves and look forward to spoiling ourselves.
Yeah. And if you're in a space where you're not feeling that self-love, go back and find a picture of yourself when you were a baby or a toddler and you had a smile on your face and you had a glow and everything just seemed right in the world. And look at that picture and see that person that's inside of you, that innocence, that excitement, and kind of meditate on that a little bit and feel into it and say, what would that little person tell me about myself right now that would make me feel good? What would I say to that little child that I'm not saying to myself now? And create those strong feelings and those positive feelings and build yourself up.
And along the same lines, maybe think about how your future self may talk to your current self and maybe are about how proud you'd like to make that person and how you'd like to look back a year from now and think, whoa, I really leaned into that. Or, wow, I'm so glad that I took this on. And, or if you're going through a breakup, I really showed up for myself. I'm so thankful. And hopefully you'll be saying, I'm so thankful for that person because now I love dating myself.
Excellent. Yeah, and take some time to write a list of all the things I've been wanting to do,
Oh,
right? You
yes.
said you've got that list. Just write out a list. Here are all the things I've been wanting to do. And then start tick boxing those off on taking yourself on a date for each one of them.
Yes. I mean, and if you do make any lists, feel free to share them with either of us. I would just be tickled pink to hear what people come up with. And
Ooh,
again, get out your Google Maps. I really like that app. It's really
yeah,
fun and it suggests things. So, yeah, and like I said, I'm still taking from it. And along those lines, this helps me to actually plan things out. I will often plan, yeah, where I'm going to go for drinks ahead of time, find a funky place. Often I will take an Uber to where I want to kind of spend some time and do, two or three or four things. And yeah, it's all mapped out so I don't have to think, I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't know if everyone would expect this as a tip, but what I think is really cool is to take selfies of yourself. Well, is to
I think you should take selfies of somebody else.
Okay.
Is this a blooper moment?
Like to the person next to you. Take selfies and share them. And the reason why I'm suggesting this is it makes it more fun. I just think that'll add a little bit of excitement to it. And if you're, sharing it on social media, I just think it's good vibes. People will, give you a thumbs up.
if you're not comfortable posting it on social media, still take those selfies so you can go back
Yeah.
and you've got the memories to see yourself and go, oh, I remember when I took myself out on that day. That was such a good day.
And I was dressed up and looking good and feeling good. I like when my clients send them to me, and I will, especially, you know what, you're right. If you are totally new to this, you might not be comfortable posting and then putting it on social media. But yes, let's get into the really fun part. I know, Julie, you were excited to talk about this, and that is actual activities. We have mentioned a lot dinner and bars, but there, which I think we will continue to allude to because it's so fun. But there's other things that you can do and ways you can do it. One
Yeah.
tip that I wanted to give is planning your solo dates maybe around your errands. This is especially good for the newbies, I feel, because if you're already out, adding something onto it might be a little less intimidating. And this is something else I suggest also for my clients. I have a couple ways that I do it. The place where I go to get my hair done is by a really great Italian restaurant that has the best burrata in town. Seriously. And so whenever I go to get my hair done, I budget in mind, I will often schedule my hair so that when it's done, it's happy hour. And so then I can go and have a nice meal and a drink with a little bit more affordable. And also, something that I discovered a few years ago is that the Apple store is really close to this Mexican restaurant that I really like. And so whenever I need to go for a repair and whatnot, I will make sure to put those two things together.
Another good tip is if you're not comfortable going out, maybe and having a meal on your own or doing something, take a cooking class.
Ooh, okay.
So, I mean, that's a great date. I've done
Mhm.
that on dates with other people. I've done it with girlfriends. Take yourself out and do it yourself. Then you're together with other people as well. So
Okay.
there's the
What are those like?
cooking classes.
Yeah, I've never done this.
Oh, they're great. You go ahead and you cook the meal and you learn new recipes that you can take home and make again. And then you typically sit down and share the meal with everybody that
Oh.
you've just made. So while you've taken yourself on a date, you're not completely alone because you're then with other people. So that can apply to a pottery class, to any kind of class. But again, make it formal instead of saying, oh, I'm going to take this class. Say, I'm going to take myself on a date to this class and do all of the other things we said, plan it, get dressed
Mhm.
up, that you feel special doing it.
I think that's a good idea because you would actually most likely have to go and register for it. And so
Yeah.
already, yeah, it's more formal and like a date. Julie, you said earlier that you went to high tea. I have also gone to high tea on my own. It's actually a bit of a hobby for me, if that's what you could call it. Whenever I go to a new city or to a notable city, I will try and find a high tea. And I've done them all over the world. I didn't end up doing one in Bali. But did not exist. But
Yeah.
otherwise, this is a really cool thing to do when you travel, or not even when you travel. I mean, there's undoubtedly some high teas within driving distance from your home. Oh, they're so special. There
Yeah.
is something about going to high tea that it's like you're kind of leaving, not leaving reality, but like you're really leaving the humdrum of life and stepping into almost this magical little place where the food is completely different and all pretty. So yeah, and I had a client do this and it really changed things for her once she figured out that she could not just go and do something on her own, but something this special. And hobbies. I alluded earlier to the fact that my solo time helped me to get more in touch with my hobbies. And it wasn't just my interests, though I would consider books to definitely be a hobby when you're as obsessed as I am. But also, I had kind of forgotten that I had been really into decoupage for
Ah,
years before I got so out of touch with myself. And so I started doing decoupage again. And I don't have any hanging up here, but it's so fun. It's so relaxing. And also my love of flowers, which are everywhere that I can see. Oh, what about a staycation? I know this is a little different from a date, but I think that it will get you generally comfortable being on your own, and especially if you schedule things in.
Yeah, I would say that, or even a smaller component of that is treat yourself to a date night at home for dinner. Make a nice meal.
Uh-huh.
Set the table with your finest china. Put on candles and nice music. So
Hmm.
turn what would be an evening, sitting at home eating dinner into a date at home. A lot of things we already do that we might consider a date with somebody else, but when we're on our own or at home, we're just hanging out tonight. So turn that into a date and a ritual of creating something special.
I really enjoy this idea. I think, yeah, you can definitely have a sexy solo date night at home. And I would say, go to maybe a fine foods store, pick out a couple things that are just very, very special that you don't buy for yourself very often. I don't know. Some chocolate covered raspberries or something, or a very nice cut of fish, something like that. And yes, make it do. Definitely light the candles and definitely get something for dessert as well. And then maybe you can go a step farther and do something else on our list, which is get in touch with your body. If you have a sexy solo date at home, why not take it into the bedroom after? That's how I like
Absolutely.
to end dates.
Yeah, percent.
I actually had a really cool, sexy solo date during the pandemic. For sure, we were all wearing masks. So I don't, 2020. And I took myself to the Frida Kahlo exhibit that was here at the Denver Art Museum. It was awesome. I really enjoyed that I was by myself because I actually walked through it twice. And a lot of people wouldn't want to do that. Let's just be honest. And so that was very, very special for me. And then I went to, I think, like the one place that was open for some sort of drink. I had special dips at home. And yeah, at the end of the night, took a shower and had a little self-pleasure date as well. It was just overall the most beautiful day. Oh, something that I wanted to ask you about, Julie. How about sunbathing? You like to do this solo, don't you?
I love to go for swims. Yeah, I
Okay.
do that. And I'm not as big a sunbather as I used to be, but I love to, after I've had my swim, just sit in the sun and dry off and enjoy the scenery. And it's a beautiful way to be in nature. Hiking as well. Like I love hiking with friends, but I also love taking myself on hiking dates
Oh, I
and
like that.
a new trail or going out on my favorite trail and just having that time to really be with myself in nature. Take in, use all of your senses to really notice, like, how does my body feel moving? What am I smelling? What am I seeing? And really savoring all of the different colors and everything around you. It's just a really beautiful way to spend some time with yourself.
Do you think that there's anything to mention or know as far as hiking by yourself and how to plan it? Any safety tips? What would you
Yeah,
say to someone who's maybe never hiked by themselves?
start by going on a path, like go for a walk,
Okay.
maybe.
Hmm.
Right. So there's a boardwalk where I live along the beach. Don't start this off going to a treacherous hike where you could get hurt, right? There are certain trails and places that you want to go with somebody else for safety concerns, but go to a place that you're comfortable. So, especially when I was back in San Francisco, I had my favorite hiking trails there. There were some that I would do with other people, and others that I knew that trail backwards and forwards. I was completely comfortable going on my own. I've got the same thing here. There are certain locations that I'm just super comfortable with. Find your activity level and your comfort zone. And like you said, plan it out. I'm going to go for this long. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to savor everything that's there. Maybe even I'll take a picnic and a book and sit
Yeah,
and
yeah.
elongate the day. Like do whatever makes you feel good and makes you feel happy.
Oh, and also I wanted to go back to the sunbathing thing because this is actually one thing that I do during the summer for dates and that I will plan out. I live by a gorgeous park here in Denver. And so I will go, I have this huge bag that I will put a blanket, a bunch of towels, anything that I could potentially need to just be as comfortable as possible, roll around, switch positions. And then I will also load it up with anything that I might think that I would enjoy. Definitely bring music, but a bunch of different books so I can get out there and pick which one I want. The last few issues of Real Simple magazine and a snack, yes. And sometimes something special that I'll actually go to the store and buy, like a gluten-free beer, something that I wouldn't normally have. I don't keep that type of thing in the house and enjoy that as well. Oh, and then I also wanted to mention I take self-care weekends, and I would definitely put this in the category of dating myself. I will plan it out. I will always take the Friday off and then just plan out a bunch of activities for myself. I would say right now I'm up to doing it 2 or 3 times a year. And it's partially because my burnout is pretty bad if I ever let it get to that point. It's almost like having a low grade flu or something. It actually lands me in bed because I just feel so icky. And so the last time that this happened, I mean, I seriously woke up one day and I was just like, I can't put my finger on it, but I don't feel right. And I figured out that it was burnout. And so to prevent that, I make sure to take a couple days off every quarter probably. And yeah, go to my favorite restaurants, maybe go to my favorite bookstore, sometimes just read in bed for half the day. I try to plan it out as much as possible without being too rigid about it. Well, Julie, this has been fun. What else do you want to tell people about dating themselves?
Make it a priority.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Plan something and do it. Really savor that time and savor that date and have fun. And like you said, let us know. Let us know what you've done and how you felt.
If you don't want to share a selfie on social media, you can still send it to us. We will totally, totally root you on. And honestly, I can't say this enough. It completely changed my life. So I'm really wishing everyone out there so much luck getting this started. I hope that you have so much fun and yeah, go for it. I think you're really going to find that your relationship with self is going to be completely transformed. And if you are going through a breakup and that's why you pushed play today, I am sending you so much strength for the week ahead. Thank you, Julie, for being here again.
My pleasure, always.
All right. Bye. Thank you for listening to Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On with Janice Formicella. I sincerely hope that you found today's episode inspirational or useful. I would love to support you on your healing journey. All you have to do is send me a message on Instagram at Breakups Podcast or email me at breakupspodcast@gmail.com and I will be in touch to get you started. Remember, if you are struggling with a broken heart, your feelings are temporary. I am sending you so much love and luck for the week ahead. You've got this.